In this video, we'll be unboxing the top mount turbo kit from DOCRace for the first generation B58 engine. This is specific to the first gen, but it will be very similar to the kits that are offered for the second generation TU engine. This kit will just have a manifold specific for my car. So I will open everything up, show you all the parts that come with the kit, and then I'll talk about why I chose the turbo I did and what my power goals are and things like that. Just to be 100% transparent, this is the kit that I was waiting on. I've been a big fan of DOCRace ever since I've seen the kits that he makes for the N54 engines. So I've been talking to him as he was going through development, and he extended a partial sponsorship to me to review the kit and show the whole process of getting it installed. So I do appreciate him offering me that, and it definitely made it easier on the wallet, so shout out to him. So what we'll do is open up the turbo first, and this was actually drop shipped from a distribution center, so it got to me pretty quickly after I ordered the kit. And then I'll open up his fabricated parts as well, and that came a couple weeks later since they're built to order. All right, so let's open this up. So it has some warranty information. Hopefully won't be needing that. Alright, so this has really good packaging, and this is the main thing we came here for. So this is the Borg Warner EFR 8374. Holy crap, it is heavy. Let's go ahead and take it out of the packaging. Oh my gosh, it is so big and so heavy, and it makes a lot more sense because of the things that I know about EFR turbos, but I just didn't expect it to be this massive in my hands. So the reason why DOCRace went with the EFR turbos on the B58 kits is because our cars are very sensitive to using the OEM wastegate. There are ways to work around it, but by integrating the OEM wastegate with his kit, you can technically even run this turbo kit with the stock tune. So it'll work with off-the-shelf maps from all the major tuners, and everything will drive and work similar to the OEM tuning strategy. Of course, it won't be ideal. You'll want a custom tune with a turbo kit like this to dial in your fueling and get the most power out of it. But it can work in a pinch with a map that's designed for the stock turbo because it reuses the OEM wastegate. So his kit is actually designed to remove this bracket, remove the wastegate, and then install his custom bracket with the OEM B58 turbo wastegate, and plugs right in just like stock. The other thing about EFR turbos is they are basically the best street setup. They're known for having amazing transient response. And what that is basically a better indicator of how a turbo is when you're actually driving. So if you're looking at lag and peak torque on a dyno, that kind of gives you a part of the picture, but transient response actually tells you how quickly the turbo comes on when you're in the range where it can hit full boost. So let's say your peak boost is at 3,000 RPM. If you're above 3,000 RPM and floor it, there will still be a small delay for the turbo to spool up, and that's where the Borg Warner turbo kits shine. They come on really quick, they spool really quickly because of all of the technology that's actually built into it. So it is a twin scroll design. You can see on the hot side, it's also water cooled and oil lubricated, so it has fittings for both. That'll make it really reliable and work really well. And the turbo wheel itself is actually extremely light the way that they designed it. So it spins really freely. Again, that helps with the transient response and the spool time. And yeah, so the only real downsides with the Borg Warner kit is the size and the weight. Because of all of that technology that's in the turbo, it's extremely big and extremely heavy. And so that can make it hard to fit in tight places. A top mount turbo kit kind of avoids that issue. but you also need to have, you know, appropriate reinforcements and everything to hold it up. The other thing is the blade itself is fragile when you're pushing it very hard. So if you just want to run this, you know, like 25-30 psi, it runs really well. But running it like 35 plus for people that try to basically get the most out of a turbo, this is not the kit for that. The blades get damaged really easily when they're overspun. So your best bet is to basically just upgrade to a bigger turbo to make more power instead of trying to push the same turbo to like 40 plus psi. So just keep that in mind too. And we'll move on to the rest of the turbo kit. Oh yeah, stickers. Awesome. Alright, so again, this looks packaged very well. I actually had to flip the box a couple times and nothing moved, so that's good. Let's get all this wrapping out. Alright, so the first thing that we have on top, this is the charge pipe. You can open it up, take a look. A nice wrinkled black finish. Oh, it even has a bung for meth, so that's nice. And then the OEM connections for the OEM sensors, and this is the flange for the throttle body. And then this is the lower part. This will actually mount up to a silicone that attaches to the turbo, so it'll sit like this in the car. And then this is the silicone elbow, so this will attach to the turbo at the bottom. This is the reducer that goes between the two pieces of the charge pipe. Have all the lines for oil and coolant. More hoses, gaskets, clamps. So this looks like their solution for the PCV, and I'll make another video about how our PCV works. But because this does not come with like an intake like the OEM setup, you basically need a dump tube to be able to vent out your PCV gases. So I'm assuming that's what this is, and it'll attach to the valve cover. And then we have a bunch of exhaust wrap. This is awesome. I didn't know this was going to come with it. More packaging. All right, we'll start with the downpipe. This is huge. So it's obviously catless. They put the two O2 bungs up here, so they're pretty much right next to each other. This should not have the same issue with going through O2 sensors like the N54 kits, because it's mounted after the turbo. On the N54, they had to mount it in the manifold since it was going from a twin turbo to a single turbo setup, so that's just kind of a limitation they had. But I don't anticipate any issues with this kit. And then you see the flex section. The welds are amazing. Overall, just a high quality downpipe. All right, and then here is the manifold. Again, very heavy. So the fabrication looks amazing. I'm not a welder, but just looking at it, you can see how high quality it is with the DOCRace emblem. It does have one long runner, but it shouldn't actually affect anything with scroll. And then all the others are pretty close to equal length. Now, I did get this in the raw finish, particularly for this video, because I wanted to show the quality of the welding and everything that comes with the kit, but it will be getting coated, so I'm going to have to send that out to a local company. And lastly, this box. Let's see what's in here. Oh, and this is the actual intake filter. This is going to be stubbier than the ones you saw in like his development pics or the ones that he had on the website, because when he fitted them on an F30, it actually had less clearance than the F22, the M240i that he designed the kit for. For some reason, the 3 Series and 4 Series have less clearance to the radiator support, so it has a shorter filter to get behind there. So here's everything laid out. I'm very excited to get this all installed. The reason why I went with the 8374 is because I have a couple limiting factors on my car. I still have the 550i clutch, and I still have the TU fuel pump from the 2nd generation B58. And because I'm stubborn, I want to push it as far as I can, see how far it'll go. I'm hoping that I can make like 550 wheel horsepower, maybe more. But one thing about this turbo is it might be a little bit small for my goals. I'm not sure if I'll need a more efficient turbo to get the most out of the TU pump, but we'll see as we start pushing it. Another nice thing about this is if I'm not able to hit my goals, or in the future when I really want to turn it up and switch to a racing clutch and add port injection, I can pretty much just pull this turbo off and swap on, you know, a 9280, because all of the turbos from the 8374 and up are fitted in the exact same frame. So it'll bolt up to the manifold, it'll bolt up to the charge pipe, the downpipe, everything will fit. But for now, we'll stick with a somewhat modest setup just to enjoy the car. And then when I get bored with that, I can really turn it up. So everything will be getting installed in a few weeks once it comes back from coating and I get the rest of the components that I need. But if you have any questions or comments in the meantime, feel free to leave them below, and I'll answer them or try to address it in my installation video. Thanks for watching.